This week on The Rock, we take a look at the eventful first 2 weeks of Joe Biden's presidency. Next, we share the story of Lucy Shannon, the AHS Poet Laureate. Lastly, we walk through a day at school after the reopening.
Just like you're gonna wanna see what we do this week on The Rock. 3, 2, 1, we're live.
Welcome back to The Rock AHS. I'm Lauren McClintock.
And I'm Allie Perez. I hope you're having a great day today.
It sure has been an eventful past few weeks.
How do you mean?
Well, a lot has happened in President Biden's first 2 weeks in office. Joni Umayam and Nathan Morgan made a segment all about it.
On January 20th, 2021, America ushered in its 46th president, Joe Biden, along with Kamala Harris as his vice president. With Trump out of office, it will be interesting to see how our country will change moving forward. In fact, many things have already changed within Biden's term so far. Here's a quick recap of everything Biden has done since his inauguration. First up, let's talk about the inauguration itself. Biden became the 46th president on January 20th, 2021, as I previously stated, and Kamala Harris became the first woman of color in the vice president position on the same day. The turnout for the inauguration was somewhat lower than other inaugurations in the past, but this can be mostly attributed to restrictions due to COVID-19. Also, Donald Trump was the first president to not attend his opponent's inauguration since Andrew Johnson in 1869. Okay, now that I'm hydrated, it's time for Executive Order Quick Time, where I explain every executive order that Biden has signed as of this recording. There's a lot of them, so I'm going to try and keep this as simple and quick as possible. I apologize if I stumble. Ready, set, go. So, on day one, Biden signed orders that froze any approval of rules passed in the final days of the Trump presidency, put America back in the Paris Agreement on climate change, promoted racial equity, ended the U.S. entry ban on majority Muslim countries, began requiring masks on federal property, began coordinating a government-wide COVID response, revised immigration enforcement policies, undid regulatory restrictions on federal agencies, incorporated undocumented immigrants into U.S. Census, began refocusing on the climate crisis and canceling the Keystone XL pipeline, banned discrimination on the basis of gender or sexual orientation, revamped regulatory review, mandated the ethics pledge for government appointees, pulled funds from the border wall, paused federal student loan payments, reinstated enforced departure for Liberians, and strengthened DACA and Obama-era program. On day two, promoted COVID-19 safety in domestic and international travel, expanded access to COVID-19 treatments, provided a data-driven response to the virus, supported states' use of the National Guard in COVID response, strengthened the public health supply chain, established the COVID-19 Health Equity Task Force, supported the reopening of schools, promoted workplace safety amid the pandemic, and established a COVID-19 pandemic testing board. So, on day 3, Biden expanded food assistance programs, assisted veterans with debt, guaranteed unemployment insurance for workers who refused to work due to the virus, established benefit delivery teams, facilitated stimulus check delivery, addressed COVID-19 economic relief, and empowered federal workers and contractors. Jumping forward to day 6, Biden reversed the ban of transgender individuals in the military, reinstated COVID-19 travel restrictions, and promoted Buy American agenda. Day 7, Biden called for the evaluation of Trump's housing policies, ended reliance on private prisons, reaffirmed commitment to tribal sovereignty, and denounced anti-Asian discrimination and xenophobia. On day 8, Biden initiated a plan to combat climate change, wrote a memorandum on scientific integrity, and reestablished Presidential Council on Science and Technology. Finally, on day 9, Biden reinforced Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act, as well as expanding the access to reproductive health care in America. Boom! That's the executive orders.
Whoa, what the heck? It's nighttime now. That took a long time, huh?
Well, as you can see, much has already changed in America since the Biden administration, and undoubtedly, much more is yet to come. Remember to stay informed and try your best to understand all sides, no matter what your political stance is. This has been Joni Umayam, reporting from The Rock.
Speaking of the new presidency, the poet laureate at the inauguration was amazing.
She was incredible. Did you know we have a poet laureate here at AHS?
Really? Who is it?
Well, you'll find out in this next segment that Emmy Mavar and I made.
We are striving to forge our union with purpose.
At the inauguration of our new president, Amanda Gorman, the National Youth Poet Laureate, shared a poem that moved many. With poetry fresh on our minds, we were reminded of our very own poet laureate in Anacortes, Lucy Shannon.
A student poet laureate's job is to spread poetry throughout the community. So different ways that we've been doing that are we've been posting on Instagram, we've written poems in sidewalk chalk, we made a pre-recorded broadcast to use in schools and just to kind of watch and be uplifted. It's on YouTube. It's called Poemed and Uplifted. Right now, we are planning a county-wide youth poetry slam. It's going to be on March 6th, and you can find information about that on our Instagram. For me, poetry is a way of expressing myself and connecting with other people. So I write poems to kind of process what's going on around me. When I read other people's poems, I am able to connect with them in a deep way and oftentimes just understand myself better, because sometimes I'll be reading a poem and I will come across a description of something that I felt or experienced and I just didn't have words for it. And it's such a great feeling to get those words and know how to say what you're feeling. My job as the student poet laureate is to help the high school with poetry. So just reach out to me if you want like recommendations for a book, or if you want to just talk about poetry or write poems together, and you can like send your poems to me and I can put them on my Instagram thing for the student poet laureates. Like, I'm just here to connect with you through poetry.
You can keep up with the Skagit Student Poet Laureates and find ways to get involved with poetry in our community by following SRPF Student Laureates on Instagram. For The Rock at AHS, I'm Emmy Mavar.
Wow, she is really talented.
Definitely. I can't wait to talk to Lucy about poetry.
Well, you can talk to her in person when we go back to school on February 22nd. Wyatt Sever and I made a segment walking us through a day at AHS when we returned to in-person learning.
Starting February 22nd, as per current schedule, students will be back in the halls of AHS. School will start at 8:45 and end at 2:45. Students will be divided into cohorts. If your last name starts with A through LAN, you will be in cohort A and will attend in-person learning on Monday and Thursday. If your last name starts with LAN through Z, you are cohort B and will attend Tuesday and Friday in-person learning. Wednesdays will remain remote for everyone. For those of you who are quick at math, that means 2 days of in-person instruction and 3 days of remote learning. Before coming to school, every student will complete an electronic attestation form every morning before school. Do not come to school if you're sick. Students will enter the school beginning at 7:55 a.m. Students can't eat breakfast in the commons. Unfortunately, there will also be no loitering in the hallways before class. Masks are mandatory and must be worn covering the face and nose. Make sure to wear it correctly. Students will clean desks between classes with soap, water, and paper towels. Each classroom will have sanitizer, spray bottles, and soap and water with paper towels. Please use these materials wisely. Social distancing will be in place at all times. The school is marked with signs to show 6 feet of distance in flex spaces, classrooms, eating areas, and other spots around the school. Students should not meet closely in small groups. However, small group work can occur while remaining 6 feet apart. When transitioning between classes, hallways and stairs are divided into two-way traffic as per usual, with students walking single file along the walls on the right side.
Don't do this. Or this.
To limit students in the halls at the same time, teachers release one row at a time from each class. There will be 3 lunches with 80 to 90 students per lunch. There will be seating charts. Students must remain in their assigned seat during lunch. There will be 2 students per table. Garage doors will be open, so dress warm. Students will have 15 minutes. Wait, hold up, 15 minutes? Students will have 15 minutes to eat and then put masks back on for a full 30-minute lunch. So, for the last 15 minutes, just stare intensely into your table partner's eyes. Remember, stay positive, AHS. I know these guidelines may seem restrictive at the time, but at least we're going back to in-person learning. Remember to keep an upbeat attitude and to be kind to our counselors and AHS staff. See you all in school.
Thanks for that segment, Lauren. It sure helped me out.
You're very welcome. And for our viewers who still have questions, make sure you attend the Q&A session with Ali Perez and the other ASB officers tomorrow morning. The link should be in your email.
Well, I think that wraps up our show for today. If you have any comments or suggestions, please email them to therock@asd103.org. We love to hear your feedback.
With that, I'm Lauren McClintock.
And I'm Ali Perez. And from our rock to yours, have a great day, AHS.